Welcome everyone to today's session of our brand new CK12 Certified Educator Program. We're so excited to have you all here for today's launch of our Introduction to CK12 session. We're coming to you live from the CK12 offices in Palo Alto, California, in the heart of Silicon Valley. I'm Lindsay, a member of the CK12 team.
And I'm Katie, also a member of the CK12 team. We're so excited that you're joining us today for the second session of our summer programming. As most of you know, this new CK12 Certified Educator Program offers 32 sessions over 4 weeks. We've designed this program specifically for you, the teachers, administrators, curriculum developers, and others who want to use CK12's quality content.
Katie, before we dive into the details of the program and the rest of today's content, let's make sure we introduce everyone to the Zoom webinar platform. When you register for a CK12 webinar, you receive a registration confirmation from Zoom that has a unique link specifically for you.
You can join a webinar with that unique link, which I'm sure most of you figured out since you're here today. And you can join from a desktop computer, a laptop, other way around, desktop computer, a tablet, and even a mobile device, or a laptop computer as well. You'll receive an email reminder from us 24 hours ahead of your scheduled webinar, as well as 1 hour before the webinar begins. You can see here that you can click on the link and join the session, or cancel if you need to cancel your registration. Once you're a viewer, you should see 2 different options on your screen, one for Q&A and one for chat.
During today's presentation, or any presentation, whenever you have a question for our moderators, instructors, or guests, please post it in the Q&A window. Our presenters will pause for a Q&A session after each major topic to address any questions that have been submitted. The chat window, which I think you guys are using right now, is a place for a community conversation. Whenever you join one of our sessions this summer, please feel free to introduce yourselves in the chat window. If you're an educator, it'd be great for you to share where you live and what grade or subject you teach. The key thing here is to make sure in the chat window that you're sending any general posts to all panelists and attendees. So there's a graphic here, and this is one that I'll continually remind you of throughout the session, but put it on all panelists and attendees so the whole community can see what you're typing. If it's just sent to panelists, only our CK12 team can see it. So be mindful of who you're sending it to.
Great, thank you, Lindsay. Also, while we don't anticipate any technical issues during our broadcast, if you're having any trouble with your video or your sound, please let us know in Q&A or chat, and we'll do our best to help you resolve the issue. Now that you're all comfortable with Zoom, let's get started with today's core content. So today's session is really the foundation for the CK12 Certified Educator Program, and our goal today is to get you started. During our webinar, which is scheduled to last about an hour, we're going to give you all of the details about the Certified Educator Program, including what you can expect and how to complete certification. We'll then go into a brief overview of CK12, including who we are, where we started, and how we personalize learning. A lot of people know us for our free digital textbooks, but over the years, we've become so much more than that with our concept-based learning, interactives, and adaptive practice. So we'll go into what concept-based learning means for us. Finally, we'll make sure all of you are signed up and signed in on our site, and we'll give you a brief tutorial to navigate with ease, including an overview of our newest features just launched in the past few months, so even veteran CK12 users will see something new. And we're so excited to have Mira with us today. She's the executive director and co-founder of the CK12 Foundation, whose vision has kept us going for 10 years. It's really special that she's joining us to share her vision and philosophy with you, and to give you a chance to ask her any questions about CK12.
So what are the requirements and what does it actually mean to become a CK12 certified educator? Well, the first basic requirement is that is the successful completion of the program. Let me start over again. The first basic requirement is that successful completion of the program means registering for and attending a series of 7 sessions this summer. Of those 7 sessions, 2 are mandatory, like this session that you guys are in, Introduction to CK12, and a culminating session called Maximizing Learning with CK12. To help you structure your sessions in a way that best fits your learning needs, we've established training pathways for you to consider when registering.
The first pathway is what we call the content pathway. In this pathway, we cover concept-based modalities and our customizable flexbooks. Whether you're in an adoption cycle and considering going with CK12 resources, or you're already using flexbooks but looking to go beyond existing books to customize content, this pathway is for you. We're here to help with editing, from basics to embedding practice and using the math editor, and we'll share examples of teaching strategies and how others are using CK12 in their classes.
The second pathway is the intelligent pathway, including sessions on practice, groups, and seeing student progress. The main difference between this pathway and the content pathway is that there is less of a focus on flexbooks and more of a focus on our adaptive practice and intelligence system. This is great for those of you who are already customizing flexbooks and want to better incorporate assignments in your class, either using CK12 groups or integrated learning management systems.
The last pathway gives you the option to build your own learning schedule for this summer. This allows you to take multiple 101 classes to get an overview of CK12 resources, or advanced editing and customizing practice to learn more about specific features. Plus, you can take more than the required 7 sessions and maybe even join us for all of them.
So whether you are on a set pathway or designing your own experience, you will master comprehensive skills for customizing and delivering content. I also want to say about the pathways is that we're doing CK12 certification for the general group who completes any pathway. They're not pathway specific. And really, we've designed these pathways to frame your thinking about how you want to guide your learning experience. It's really not a big deal to us which pathway you've selected. We just want you to create the most, meaningful pathway for you for learning. So in addition to this pathway and mastering skills, we're offering all of this to you at no cost and on your own schedule. We do hope that you guys are going to advertise your CK12 certified educator status with your professional networks, on your web pages, and through social media. We have a shiny new badge for you to make this statement. Also, for those of you completing the program, keep an eye out in the next couple of weeks for taking this one step further and becoming a champion for CK12. We're going to be hosting 2 extra optional sessions the last week of the program for those who have already, are well on their way to becoming CK12 certified educators. And we're going to give you additional tools to become even more involved with CK12.
Yes, one of the most exciting pieces to come out of this program for us is having a whole group of you that know about CK12 and can continue to share it with others. One of your biggest benefits of participating, and I know some people are asked why you'd want to do so, in addition to learning about CK12, is that you get to join educators from around the world. As of this morning, we have over 900 users signed up for the program from over 55 countries, and this number is growing all the time. We're hoping that in addition to learning more about CK12, the program will connect you with the greater professional learning community and network of educators in your geographic or subject area.
To help foster this growing community, we have several things set up for you. The first is our CK12 Cafe, which is a place for teachers and students to get help and have discussions. I would encourage you all to join the general Jumpstart for Educators Cafe. Here you can reply to our posts and introduce yourself and where you're from, or start a new thread with any questions you have about CK12 or the Certified Educator Program.
We have office hours specifically for these summer sessions. Individuals or groups of teachers can sign up for a 30-minute session with CK12 team members. To do so, go to our ck12.org/certified2017 page. And this page is going to be super helpful throughout this program. But there you can choose a time slot and sign up. You'll receive a confirmation email and we'll follow up with details for joining us for that window of time. During office hours, you can get specific questions answered about CK12, just like you can in these webinars, or you can tell us more about your school or district and we can talk about suggestions and best practices for you. It's very informal. We're just here to help you guys.
Okay, so a quick recap here. Here are the things you need to do to complete this summer's certification program. You need to attend 7 live sessions. You need to complete the accompanying assignments that we'll talk about in a second, and each are designed to take about 20 minutes. And then you need to complete a final feedback form to request your certification. And that's it. Welcome to CK12 Certified Educator Status.
For each session you attend, we have created an accompanying assignment, which is required to become CK12 certified. As Lindsay said, they're only about 20 minutes each and are designed to complement the webinars with steps to explore CK12, give you a start on customization, and think about next steps. You'll have a week to complete each of these Google Forms, which we will share in the chat window and each follow-up email.
You're also going to find it on the Certified Educator Program resource page at www.ck12.org/certified2017. You guys did the registration on another page, but once the program gets going, this is going to be your main page for everything you need to know. In addition to the office hours, you're going to find the resources and help articles for each session, as well as links to all assignments. Each session will be recorded and added to the archived webinar section on this page.
Don't forget, you can always go to ck12.org/jumpstart to register for any session at any time throughout the program. If any of you out there are joining us today and have not signed up for the full program of 7 sessions, it's not too late to create your own pathway and become CK12 certified. Similarly, if you missed a session for any reason, you can sign up for a future session on that page.
Okay, I want to touch on a few of our frequently asked questions, which is what happens if I have to miss a live session? You can miss one live session, watch the recording, and turn in an assignment and still meet the requirements of this program. How can I cancel a session? Katie showed you earlier that your reminder emails contain a link for cancellation. If you're having trouble with this, you can always email jumpstart@ck12.org if you need any help with cancellation or registration. And then we do get a lot of questions about professional development credit or continuing education units, if this is going to qualify for your district for participating in the program. And the answer is really that it depends on your district. CK12 will provide a certificate documenting the hours for any live webinar sessions you attend. It is up to your district how they interpret or honor those hours for professional development credit.
So that was a lot of information. We want to emphasize that it's okay not to get CK12 certified. Our intent is to give you professional development, and we don't want the program's requirements to get in the way of your learning. Feel free to register for individual webinars at any time. You can also watch archived webinars on your own schedule. It's your summer and your experience.
So at this point, I think we want to pause and ask you guys how you are feeling about this certification. So we're going to launch a poll. And as you can see on this screen, we're asking you, after learning more information about CK12 Certified Educator Program, which pathway do you intend to complete this summer? You can choose the content one, intelligence, custom, or maybe you're here for the individual webinars. So please go ahead and select one. We are watching the results come in. I'm going to give you a few seconds to answer the question. All right, we almost have all the results here. Okay, we are going to go ahead and end this poll, and we're going to share the results with you.
Great, so it looks like many of you guys have chosen to customize this path and create your own, which totally makes sense given the idea that CK12 supports about really personalizing learning and allowing people to kind of access based on their schedule and what they want to do. It also looks like we have some people that are focused on Flexbooks or adaptive practice, which is great if that's what you know you're going to be working on this summer. And then a few of you are just joining us for today, maybe to learn a little more, and feel free to join for any webinars you want this summer and maybe switch over to being Pathway certified later on.
Great, so I think we'll stop there for just a minute and check out our Q&A queue. So please start populating that with questions that we can answer right now. Anything you have about the general program requirements before we move on to the next section. So we've got a question about, somebody asked if I can add an additional webinar. I wanted to take an 8th session.
Great. Yeah, you are always welcome to re-register for extra classes. You can cancel one and register on our registration page at ck12.org/jumpstart page. I know there's a glitch in the system right now, so if you were just trying to register, just come back shortly and we'll hopefully have that page up and running. If you don't see what you're looking for, you can always find the session times on our Certifieds 2017 page that we just mentioned. So definitely check those out. Email us if you're having issues, but just give it a little bit of time to reset that system, and then you should be able to register again. And you can either do that through the register option here in a custom pathway, or by just picking extra sessions through the individual webinar session. So we had questions about switching from content to custom pathways. Those are really just recommendations of pathways suggested based on what we think you guys might be looking for. You can customize it by simply adding in extra sessions and canceling any ones that you can no longer make.
Okay, a couple of questions are asking about, will the webinars be archived? And absolutely, you probably need to give us about a day to get the webinar downloaded and uploaded to YouTube and on our site for you to access, but all of our sessions will be recorded and we will make those available to you on the certified page and through email. So definitely be on the lookout for those. Another question is, can I register the day of a session? Absolutely, you can join anytime. So you just need to click the registration button and click on your unique link and join our session. Kick it back to Katie here.
So we have a couple that have to do with kind of missing one session or missing more than one session. We're really trying to encourage you guys to join as many live as possible. That's why we set that requirement of 6, because we want to build that community and we want you to be able to get your questions answered. If you need to, something comes up and you're still trying to become CK12 certified, please email Jumpstart and we'll work with you to find an option there. But hopefully you can join us for at least 6 sessions. There are 30-something offerings this summer, so hopefully that will work out.
So she's saying 6 sessions in addition to the one that you guys are in today. And several of the questions are saying, can I take more than 7 sessions? Of course, join us for all of the sessions. We would love that. That's great. Also, a couple questions on how we track attendance. And right now, you guys don't really need to do much. You've clicked in and signed in. So we get an attendance report that has names and email addresses, whatever you guys have provided. And then at the end of the session, we're going to give you an assignment. And when you fill out that assignment, we're able to pair that with the record of your live attendance. And we have that record. So you don't need to do anything extra at this point to make sure that we know you're here. If you're here, we know it.
Great, thanks, Linz. We have a question about signing up for more than one pathway. So if you decided you wanted to do both Flexbooks and Adaptive Practice and kind of cover all of it, the intro sessions are the same for those pathways. So each title has a unique session, but we're offering those multiple times. So if you decided to register kind of that way through both sets of pathways and not choosing the custom to mix and match, you only need to attend one offering of each titled session. And so we had a question about how many specific topics are there. There are 11. There's kind of our 2 core ones, 4 for Flexbooks, 4 for the customizing kind of intelligent system practice one, and then our Sims and Plix, and then that bonus extra one that Lindsay talked about earlier today.
Sorry, and then a question about our office hours. And would it be appropriate if you were wanting to talk about an upcoming professional development session that maybe you're doing with your school? Absolutely. Like, office hours are for whatever you want to talk about. Maybe those questions that aren't appropriate for a webinar with lots of people on it like this, but we can really answer your questions about your specific situation. Sign up for 30 minutes. You'll get a CK12 team member. You'll have our full attention, and we'll make sure that you leave satisfied with all the answers you needed. So I think at this point, keep the questions coming in the Q&A window. That's great. And anything in the chat you want to send to, again, all panelists and to everybody else as well. But we're probably going to keep going here.
Great. Thanks, Lindsay. So we're going to move into our part on CK12. So CK12 Foundation, founded in 2007, is a leading nonprofit organization dedicated to improving student learning by increasing access to educational materials through the Flexbook platform and concept-based modalities.
So what does all of this mean? Well, CK12 believe every child on this planet should have equal access to great education. All students are unique. Each has a different pace of learning, different interests, and different goals. But with limited time and resources, it's a challenge to treat students as individuals and cater to their varied needs. Our philosophy is that learning is a personal journey. The CK12 Foundation was founded with the mission to enable everyone to learn in his or her own way. We pair high quality content with the latest technologies, and we equip students, teachers, and parents with everything they need for free.
Now, CK12 is able to offer its resources for free thanks to the generous funding of a private family foundation. Not only are we a nonprofit, but we are a non-revenue nonprofit. You won't be asked for your credit card information on our site. You won't hit a paywall. You won't be bombarded with advertisements. Free means free on CK12.
Although it is offered for free, when you use a CK12 resource, you can trust that it's the highest quality. CK12 is used across the world by students, teachers, and districts because it is the best content, not because it is free. We visit schools all the time, including some of those schools that aren't bound by any budget constraints, and they still use CK12 because they know it's what's best for student learning. Our content has been developed by people with PhDs, professors, teachers, authors, NASA scientists, and other subject matter and domain experts over the past 10 years. Our content is accessible. We've worked hard to make all of our content available across every platform in both print and digital format. CK12's global impact is incredible, with over 15 million active users, which I think was just last year alone, represented in over 200 countries worldwide.
These are just a few of the many, many reasons why educators choose CK12. As part of our 10th anniversary, we've been traveling around the country and seeing how CK12 is being used as not only a cost-saving solution, but as the best curriculum for today's students. Let me share some of our conversations with these districts in this 2.5-minute video.
Back in the summer of 2014, our superintendent challenged us to find a way to save a lot of money with textbooks. And so the way around the traditional adoption purchase of textbooks in our district was to go the CK12 route. We're such a large district, when we buy textbooks, they're about $85 each, and when you have to buy 18,000 at a time, it comes out to be between $1.5 and $2 million. If you're not spending that money on textbooks, you can spend it on something else, and that's what we decided to do.
We needed new materials. We had materials that were quite old, and we weren't engaging our kids in science. So we wanted to look for a new way to be able to teach and learn with our students. CK12 was an obvious choice for us for a couple of different reasons. Number one, we were able to experience some cost savings with it. The content is rich, it's engaging to students, and it's flexible. So it allows us to really tailor the tools to meet the needs of the instruction.
We really have come to see this product come to life in the classroom. Our teachers have really taken this product and incorporated it into their daily instruction. Their students are even creating their own textbooks. So if we have language learners, if we have special education students, or just an individual who is ready to advance for pursuing, the information that's available, online textbook allows us to customize that and allows students, teachers, parents even to explore that.
As we think about customizable content, it's a tool that we use to buy relevance with our kids. In using the CK12 content, we have the ability to upgrade, update, and customize every math problem, every science experiment with people, places, and things that our students know and understand. We buy relevance that can't be purchased in textbooks.
If you can engage student, you're going to increase learning. And I believe that with the different modalities, that CK12 provides for our students to learn, a student is going to find a component within CK12 that brings that learning to life for them.
If you want to hear more from our users, you can go to our new CK12 Testimonials page and hear what teachers, administrators, and students are saying about CK12. We'll be highlighting many of these testimonials throughout all of our presentations this summer.
Like that banner just said, CK12 is trusted worldwide. With users around the world, this map gives you a sense of CK12's reach, with more users being added each minute. We hope throughout this program you're able to interact with people in your area who are working toward common goals.
You know, people often wonder how large the workforce is behind CK12's learning platform. And believe it or not, this website is run by a small team of about 35 people in Palo Alto, with a few colleagues working outside of California and in our India office. And of course, dozens of subject matter experts, educators, and editors help us create the highest quality content. We love what we do and are thrilled to give people all over the world access to free, high-quality resources.
So right now, I'd like to introduce Mira, who is CK12's Executive Director and Co-founder. As we said, it's exciting that she's joining us, and we want you to type any questions in the Q&A window that you might have for her. Mira, are you there?
Thank you, Katie, for inviting me to be part of this exciting event. This is our second annual, and I'm really happy to see so many people are potentially able to use CK12 to do what they have to do. CK12 was founded because my children, I have 4 children, had really great education. And I asked myself, why is it that every child is not able to get that education? So in answer to that question, we started CK12. And we've actually come a long ways, as Katie and Lindsay have pointed out, about where we are in our offerings. So I'm really excited to see that many people can use this. If you have any questions on, our philosophy is to help as many people as we can. We believe in the fact that we can personalize education, starting from textbooks, which became Flexbook customizable textbooks. And we created a lot of offerings from there, not only just Flexbooks, we offered concept-based learning, which covers key concepts that every child needs to know for their foundations or foundational learning backbone. And built on top of that, interactive, where we can actually see interaction between the student and our offerings to gather what a child might know or not. We are now into a phase where we can recommend students what they're missing, and we'd love to kind of continue on. We see a lot of good stuff happening in the future, building on what's happening in the technology world. Technology is very important for us to do what we think we can do, but this is truly a partnership between technology and teachers and the classroom. So I'm very, very excited to see that this is taking off. The content is, I see a question that how often is the content updated? The content is constantly updated depending upon what we start offering. Right now, every piece of content has 5 modalities available with it. We have videos, we have text, we have real-world examples. We are a big proponents of real-world examples that explain the abstract thinking in science and math. Okay, so another question. CK12 appears to be highly technologically dependent. What if there's no one-to-one laptop or iPad for school? When I started this, the question I kept asking myself was not only just this one-to-one. I said, what if there was no electricity? So it wasn't about just giving technology, but it was making things available in any which way you can. So this is where the customization part comes in. So you can customize it and be able to print what you want. Yes, any student can get an account. Are there any copyright restrictions? Yes, there are. The only copyright restriction is you do not, we expect that you do not commercialize it. It's a Creative Commons attribution license, but a non-commercial one. So you can do anything you want other than commercialize it. Oh, I keep getting this question about English and social studies content. The issue isn't that we can or cannot provide other subject content. We did this with science and math because, frankly, that's where my background is. I was a molecular biologist just doing research at Stanford. And I was not comfortable doing English and social studies, but our platform doesn't stop anybody from doing what they want to do or need to do. Already, if you go to our users created content, we have over 150,000 Flexbooks created by different schools and districts. You can actually go in and use the content that they've created. People like school districts in Texas, EPISD, or Tullahoma, sorry. Sorry, I'm Indian, I can't help it. Some things are hard to pronounce. But you know, there are lots of school districts that are doing great stuff that you can start sharing. Gamified classroom is something we have lots of conflicts around, because how do you really gamify? I don't want to create empty gamification. I'd like to create gamification with real purpose, and that's something we're very seriously thinking about. So shortly, or hopefully, we'll get some of that. So
You might hold on the questions from there.
Okay. Okay.
We did have one comment here that somebody's looking forward to seeing your keynote next month in Chicago. Mira will be presenting with one of our learning management system partners, Schoology, at a big conference in Chicago. So that will be exciting. I'm going to go ahead and take it back over the screen. There's a few more questions that look like they're not so much for Niru, but general CK12 questions. So we'll get to those in a minute. But I want to continue to give you a little more background about CK12. So let's see where we were here. Yeah, so all of this, the Niru just outlined that we're talking about, it didn't happen overnight. Like we said, CK12 was founded in 2007, so we are celebrating 10 years this year, which is very exciting. In 2008, Flexbooks launched with fully customizable math and science textbooks, free for the world to download or view online. And then in 2010, CK12 added teacher editions that offered extensions like workbooks and quizzes and tests with corresponding answer keys. In 2011, our concept collections were introduced. And here, unlike our original Flexbooks that offer full lesson plans and follow the structure of what you'd find in a more traditional textbook, these concept collections deconstruct the books into bite-sized chunks of information, similar to how teachers want to teach and students want to learn.
In 2012, we continued to break our content down into these individual concepts and present them in multiple modalities to fit different learning styles, allowing all students to learn their way, and on any device, since that was also the year when CK12 was available on desktops, tablets, and mobile phones. To encourage discussion and collaboration, classes and study groups were created in 2013, and this allows students to share CK12 resources and for teachers to create class assignments. The latest, greatest initiatives from CK12 continue to develop personalized learning experiences through our simulations and Plix interactives, as well as our intelligent adaptive practice system that currently offers over 150,000 math, science, and spelling practice questions.
So we just told you that we took our Flexbooks and broke them down into bite-sized concepts. Circular motion is an example of one of these concepts. Like when a student might go to Google and search for circular motion, they can do the same thing on CK12 and arrive at a concept page, like this one, with content that has been curated and vetted by us. This is where students can really learn their way through these different modalities, such as simulations and study guides. Unlike when students are learning through a printed text where all they can do is read, CK12 concepts come alive with the interactive content. These days, students no longer look through a table of contents. They want to use a search bar and have choice in how they learn any concept. Also, what a great tool for students who want to get ahead or those who need different information or options to learn a concept. This page truly differentiates learning.
So as you saw, there are a number of different ways to learn any concept on CK12. We enrich every concept with modalities to help meet students' needs in the best way possible. Our core modalities include text, simulations, our interactive clicks, videos, practice, and even real-world applications. You're going to learn more about these different types of modalities throughout all of our summer sessions. So let's see what you are using in your class today. Please take a few seconds to answer the following poll. So, are you using reads, simulations, clicks interactives, videos, assessments, including our adaptive practice, real-world applications, or something else on our site, or maybe you're brand new to CK12 and you're not using any of these yet? So we're going to give you a minute to kind of go through, check off which ones you're using, and then we'll kind of share these results with you like we did before in a second. So it looks like responses are coming in, which is great. We'll give you another little bit. And I think we'll probably wrap it up in a second. So we'll go from there. So it looks like a bunch of you may be new to CK12. You're not using any of these. It's not surprising that our reads and videos, kind of that core content that a lot of people knew CK12 for and are used to using on CK12. But it's great to see that some of you guys are already using our interactives and our assessment, including our practice. So we encourage you to kind of expand a little bit further if you haven't used one of these resources.
So I want to show you, this is just a little bit of a screencast of what our concept map looks like, but you can connect all of these concepts with one of our newer features. And so our platform allows teachers and students to choose their own pathways of teaching and learning, but we provide tools like our concept map to show how the concepts relate to one another, even across disciplines. As you encounter links for the concept map on our site, you might want to take a few minutes to explore this rich tool.
So great, I think we're gonna just pause for a second and give you guys a few minutes to kind of add in any extra questions, maybe answer one or two here, and then we'll move into a live demo of our site. So one of the questions that just came up was, what was the CK and CK12 stand for? And that's always a fun one. The K12 is K12 education. And then the C can stand for create, collaborate. We have this awesome shirt as a team that has a bunch of different options in there. And then we asked about accessibility. A lot of the different pieces on our site, because we are HTML5 based, you can kind of use some different resources and different pieces from there. If you have any kind of thoughts or suggestions or issues with using our content based on different things, we highly encourage you to contact us and we can talk about kind of options from there.
You guys are doing awesome with your questions, but we've kind of cleared out the Q&A window for now. So keep asking questions, and again, keep chatting with each other in that chat window. But right now, I think, Katie, we're going to have you share your screen, and let's give everybody kind of a tour of how to get signed on, how to navigate to make sure that they know how to use CK12 as they're progressing through our program this summer.
Great. So this is our homepage, CK12.org. I'm actually showing you guys the teacher version of this site, and we'll talk a little bit more about the differences between them. Most of our site is kind of displaying to you as an educator exactly what the students would see. And I'll point out a couple different places where that might be different, but I know one of our biggest questions that comes up is, well, can the students sign in as teachers? Do they have access to all of this stuff? Because we have users across the world using our site in traditional classrooms, homeschooling, learning on their own, we really wanted them to be able to fully access our content. And so if you're worried about answers showing up, then we recommend that you use our adaptive practice, because then they would be using the digital version and wouldn't immediately have access to the answers, but would still get them as they work their way through. So how do you use this? The first thing you would do is join. You can click this bright orange join button, and we make it super easy. You can sign up with Google, you can sign up with Facebook, or include your own email address, or even expand and see Twitter and Microsoft options as well. So plenty of choices to get you logged in. I have a Google account, so I'm actually going to go to sign in and just sign in with my Google account, and it will click me right into the system. And this takes me to the dashboard. And so your dashboard as an educator, if you have groups, you'll be able to see that content here. You can see recently viewed topics, trending topics, and kind of explore that way. At the top is your navigation options. So you can go into groups, and we'll talk more about groups in our practice sessions in the intelligent pathway in terms of assigning content and what those allow you to do. Your library is where you can store all of your customized content. So we'll explore that more in our Flexbooks pathway, our content pathway. The cafe allows you to discuss, and we'll bring some options on that kind of up as we continue this webinar, but definitely a great place to explore and talk to other educators, get questions answered, etc. And then browse allows you to browse our subjects. And then my favorite is this lovely CK12 logo that will get you back to our homepage no matter where you are on our site. So this homepage allows you to see one extra thing. Now, because we're in the teacher version of this site, I can see the standards box here, and I know we had some questions about kind of standards alignment. So here you could click on Common Core Math or Next Generation Science and explore our concepts that we correlated for you already to those standards. You can also search by those concepts or by different states to kind of see what books we have that are already aligned to those standards. So those are great options there. Now, if you go down a little bit, you can just browse our simulations, our Plix interactives, or our adaptive practice. And we have sessions that specifically cover each of those. So one for our 2 interactive options, and then adaptive practice throughout the intelligent pathway. So we're not going to go into those right now, but definitely take a minute and explore them. And then for those of you guys that are on here that use kind of other content besides our standard STEM content, I highly recommend you explore the schools page. As Mira said, there are a couple schools down in Texas and Tennessee that have done a ton of work with us and have decided to expand their offerings. So here's one down here, El Paso Integrated. And if we scroll down, you'll be able to see that they have kind of customized versions of science and math content or their own content, as well as other areas. So here we have a government book here, we have a European history book, they have some English books as well. So that might be a great place for you guys to explore if you're going through other content. Now, if I go back to that homepage, I could continue to browse, but really, one of the first things we do is we generally search. So if we picked the topic Lindsay had, and I searched circular motion, I could then click on this, and it would go to that concept page. So here you'll see the featured content, you'll see the different types of modalities that we have, reads, Plix, videos, and even some more assessments and a real-world application. So that's a great place to kind of explore, and if you know nowhere else to get on our site, definitely just start searching for content that you're looking for. Now, if I went back to that homepage, or I clicked the browse option here, I could see all of the subjects. So here, you'll see my subjects, and then I can expand. And these same ones you'll find on the homepage. So if I just keep scrolling down past where I was, you'll see the subjects that I've started already, and then all subjects if you wanted to see those. And you'll see we have some content for K5. That's some of our newer content, and so I would definitely say you'll see practice and videos in grade 5 math and some K-5 science textbooks. So feel free to explore those, and we're continuing to grow, or search for customized content from other users or on that school's page. But if we pick a particular topic, so let's say algebra, this will bring you to our list of concepts. So here you can see all the different concepts that we broke algebra down into. And each one of those has a page just like the one we showed you for circular motion. The other tab is our Flexbooks tab. You'll see options for middle school and high school. This one has kind of an algebra exploration before grade 7 or up through grade 7. And then you'll see here kind of Algebra 1 concepts and Algebra 1 second edition. We took those original Flexbooks and we broke them down into bite-sized chunks into our concepts. And if I open that up, I can then see some different options and access that piece there. We'll see kind of the first topic in here is definition of a variable. So if I went into that part here, now I'm still on the teacher page, I can preview the practice that might be showing up for students. I can access that content, or I could work my way all the way back to that algebra browse page, and it gives you those little breadcrumbs there. And I could access that entire concept page from here and kind of see those different reads in that different piece as I work my way through. Now I'm going to switch over. I'm going to actually share another screen. I'm going to share our student screen just so you can see what that might look like. And you'll notice that the student version of this, that homepage looks pretty similar except for one piece. There's some study guides here as well. And so we figured the students aren't necessarily looking for all of that content in terms of standards, but that study guides, or in terms of schools, but they might really want some study guides to help them prepare. And if I go back to that same book that I was just looking at, that algebra section, so if I click there, go to the high school version, and then click on concepts, this is one of our new features that we just launched and are testing out within our concept collections. So if a student accesses the first part there, you could preview it as a teacher, but we actually decided that they really should get that practice even sooner and not have to click anything else. And so you'll start seeing this practice widget with that same practice showing up on the student's page for any of the sections in our concept collection. Another piece that you might want to check out that's brand new for CK12 is if I go to the book itself, we now have an offline reader. I know that the ability to access kind of consistent internet can be problems in different places. And so that might be a great way. You can simply click on it and it's related to Chrome. So if you wanted to kind of open this particular book in your Chrome reader, then you'd be able to access it offline as well. And I think kind of one of the other major things, I'm just going to pull up that search one more time. And actually, let's pick a new topic. So let's pick literature for a second. Because one other way that you might get content if you're looking for content outside of what CK12 offers, here's your CK12 content. You can filter by grades, by categories, but you can also click on this community contributed tab. So if you're not looking at that schools page and browsing by state, this is a way that you can browse community content through the search feature. And this is all content that other users have uploaded and put within that Creative Commons license and allowed you to access as well. Now we have about 150,000 plus variations of our textbooks on our website. And so that means that we plan and curate and take care of all of the CK12 content. So the community contributed content might be a slight variation of our content. It might be brand new content, and you are welcome to explore and use any of that you want to use in your class. But the stuff that we're curating, and the reason why we kept it separate, was so that if you just wanted what we were offering in terms of our, completely updated and all those pieces content, you can check that CK12 content box. The last piece I want to talk about is kind of the footer on any of our pages. Here you'll be able to see our testimonials, the map we showed earlier, a link to the Certified Educator Program. Currently that goes to the registration page, and it will soon bump over to that resources page we've been talking about. And then tools and apps is a great resource. So for those of you that are, want offline access for a Flexbook, either that offline reader or one of these apps for your tablet or smartphone might be great. We have a physics sim app that allows you to download the simulations and access them offline, so you're not all trying to access them at the same time on your school's network. And then the practice app allows students to kind of do their practice on their phone or tablet. And it's followed by all of our integration, so Google Classroom, Edmodo, Schoology, Canvas, etc. And we have an entire session on learning management systems, but if you want to jumpstart on that, you're welcome to go to this tools and apps page and kind of get started from there.
Okay, so we've been able to answer most of the questions. Maybe there's a couple questions lingering here. One that I think is asking how to see the standards browser, which again, I think, Katie, if you're going to show them that's what you see on the teacher page when you log in as a teacher, where we were just looking at the student page. And then, are the books created ever deleted by CK12? And, you know, unless there's some content in there from a user that we need to get in and remove it from our sites, no, the content that you create on CK12 is there until you might choose to archive it or remove a book from your school's page. I also wanted to comment in the chat, I think you guys are seeing this, that there's a discussion going on about whiteboards, interactive boards, a smart board, or I guess a Promethean board. And people are saying that works really well, and I can testify to that. I've been in classrooms recently on this 10th anniversary tour, where they are using our reads and our interactives with the boards, and it's a great activity with students to get up there and take the interactivity even further as they're up there actively touching the screen.
So I just brought you back to this homepage for the teacher version. I switched over from there. For the homepage, you can just kind of toggle back and forth if you wanted to up here, switch from the student to teacher homepage. But other than that, you'd want to be logged in as a teacher to kind of assign your work and go from there. But this standards option allows you to search for your Flexbooks based on standards. And this browser, I'll just show it to you for a second. Let's click on Common Core Math. It gives you all of the standards. And then if you were to pick one of those areas, it will give you the CK12 concept that is linked to that particular standard. So that might help you address those standards as you're working your way through. We had another question about kind of having CK12 logins to access Plix. We do ask you to log in after you see kind of one or two demo Plix that you're exploring. But if you're having issues with students logging in due to email addresses, we can definitely, when you create a group, and we'll show this to you in that groups one, you can create assignments and we can upload a whole class of students without email addresses with you, so that you can kind of address especially the elementary level that don't necessarily have an email address. We had a question about the state showing science standards, not math. Those standards were aligned a little bit ago, and I know a lot of the state standards have been updated. So I would recommend that you start with Common Core and then you can customize it. If you're from a particular state, definitely go back to that homepage and kind of check out any of those areas. So I showed you EPISD, which was El Paso, but check out that schools page and see if any other schools near you have redone kind of any work on their books and have updated so that they're as closely aligned to that particular state or standard. But if you're looking for other books for math, definitely check out the Common Core options.
All right, just to be mindful of time here, please keep the questions coming. We're going to answer all of them, but I do want to go ahead and give some kind of wrap-up information about our assignments and a few of the forms you need to do, and then we will stay on after we wrap and answer all of these questions that are still pending. So keep them coming, but I'm going to go ahead and share my screen back here. And so we referenced earlier that there is an assignment that goes with all of our sessions. And if you are intending to complete the CK12 certification, then we do require that you fill out this assignment. And we've tried to make it meaningful and something, you know, again, about 20 minutes, but to walk you through the things that we demonstrated in this session. So right now, you can see a tiny URL at the top. For all of these assignments, we've shortened the URL from Google Forms to be a tiny URL. And this one is CEP17 Intro. So Certified Educator Program 17 Intro. You can find this assignment there. And we're asking you to do work in 3 sections. The first section is going to ask you about your learning goals for the summer and what skills you're hoping to develop or what resources you're hoping to use or create on CK12. The second is going to help you explore our concepts and get a better idea of what resources best meet your needs. And then the third section is going to ask you to join the CK12 Jumpstart for Educators Cafe and begin interacting with the hundreds of program participants. So please complete this assignment within about a week, and that's really just to keep it relevant. It's fresh on your mind now, so hopefully a lot of you will go and do some activities that will help kind of get you going as you progress through more sessions this summer. And we do keep all records of your completed assignments, and again, we pair that with your attendance from the live webinars, and we will keep that going for the program. I also want to encourage you to join us for some more sessions this summer. Tomorrow morning, we're on with Adopting CK12 Curriculum. It's at 9 a.m. Pacific time, and Adopting CK12 Curriculum is offered 3 times this summer. But if you are in a school or district where you're thinking about going CK12, maybe with our Flexbooks, or maybe trying to take this interactive content and best have it shape your curriculum, join us. In the afternoon, we've got a Flexbook 101 session where Katie kind of showed you briefly how to find some stuff, but we're going to dive in, make sure that you've got a book that you want to work on or show you how to create one from scratch, and then how to get started with the editing process and customizing. And then Groups in Practice 101 is on Wednesday, and that's offered a couple times this summer. That's the best place to figure out how to do some assignments, how to get your students involved on our adaptive practice learning system. And again, you can sign up, register for any of these sessions on ck12.org/jumpstart. That's our registration page. And our feedback form, sorry, just to throw one more link at you. This one you're going to see on every session that you take. It's our Certified Educator Program 2017 General Feedback Form. Like we said earlier, today's day 1 of a brand new program. This is our 2nd session, and we want to provide the best experience for you guys. So this isn't mandatory for your completion of the program, but anytime you attend a session and you want to send us some feedback, whether that's things we did well or things that we could do better next time, we read those and we take that into consideration the next time we do this. So please, if you have a few minutes, give us some feedback. We really, really appreciate it. So again, thank you for joining us. You are supported by our team. We are real people who answer phones and respond to emails, and we are here to support you. So you can email us. We talked about office hours. We also want you to let your social networks know about CK12 and your participation in our webinars. It was fun. We got a lot of tweets earlier today at either hashtag CK12 Foundation or use the @CK12 Foundation. And we love seeing kind of who you are and how you're spreading the word and how you're using CK12. So please tag us as you're sharing information about this program. So I think that's it for the formal program. Again, we're going to stay on for a while and tackle any and all questions. For those of you who need to head out and hopefully start that assignment, you're welcome to. But let's go back to maybe, Katie, if you want to go back to sharing a screen here. We are going to take the last few in the Q&A.
Great. So I'm going to kind of pull up a screen. We'll go back to this page, and I'm actually going to pull up our new kind of that Certified 2017 page, just so we can look at it for a second. Here you'll see kind of the webinar orders for anything. So if you click on here and you see the sessions, this is our intro and ending session. But within any pathway, we kind of gave you a general recommendation on order. I would say you definitely want to take kind of the 101 sessions before the advanced Flexbook editing, or Groups in Practice 101 before customizing, and maybe even before the learning management systems. That way you have a general understanding of what's happening before you take kind of the more advanced editing piece. Beyond that, you can take the Sims and Plex one whenever you want. You can take the Using Flexbook Strategies one as you're working your way through. So that's a recommended order for kind of within any pathway, and you can see those more on our registration page as well. But that's definitely something that has come up before earlier today as well. And then we had a question about, is it worth getting into it if you're an elementary teacher? And I would say yes. first of all, we have a little bit of content ourselves, but then those schools pages are building more and more content. And the more schools that get involved, the more robust our offerings are for you guys. And so that's something that as the community continues to grow and people continue to repost their own content, you'll find more and more resources at the elementary level. So I would recommend that you join in and understand the platform, and then maybe even contribute some of your own resources back and help build out that component. And we had a question about someone that missed part of the presentation and the project work for today. On that particular session, so this is that same 2017 page that we talked about, and we'll send out an email with links within 24 hours once we get all the recordings posted and everything. But if you just go to that session, there's the times that it's being offered, resources to maybe start, and your assignment is always there as well. So definitely check that piece out. If you wanted to get jump started on that assignment, you're welcome to access it there, but we'll send you out an email within a day.
So we got a question following up of, did Katie just say the order of the webinars are listed in the strands? That's the recommended order to take them. And really the recommended order is you guys are doing it right. You've signed up, you've got this introductory session first today. And then we'd love for you to try to schedule the Maximizing Learning with CK12 kind of as your last. We set those up as bookends to the sessions. And then the other ones, you'll see that there's a natural progression of Flexbooks 101 is finding Flexbooks, doing some basic editing, and then that progresses to advanced Flexbook editing. And then we give you some strategies for using Flexbooks with students. And kind of the same thing happens with group and practice and customizing practice. So it's not going to work out with everybody's schedule to take it in that progression, but just be aware they aren't really prerequisites, but it definitely helps to have a little bit of background information kind of in that sequence if you're jumping into advanced editing, to have some awareness of what Flexbooks is, and so on and so forth. We got a question about sharing Flexbooks with other teachers in your building so that multiple people are working on creating the same Flexbook. And if you don't mind, that user, I'm hoping that you're going to be attending some of our Flexbook sessions, because we're gonna get right into that, from adopting CK12 curriculum to Flexbooks 101, best practices on how to share a book with other teachers, how to get them in the hands of your students, on all the different devices. And yes, kind of the do's and don'ts of doing a collaborative process using our editing site. So if you need additional attention, please sign up for an office hour, email us, but I'm hoping that you're going to attend one of those sessions and that we're going to give you the best practices that you need. So our Q&A is clear again. We're gonna give it another minute or two here for you guys to ask any of your final questions before we sign off for today.
Okay, that lasted for about 10 seconds. So let's see what other questions we can get answered. Someone says, I signed up for 7, but I only see 6 on their calendar. What might went wrong? How can I fix that? Check your email to make sure that you got all 7 confirmations. If that's not the case, please either feel free to re-register for that program or shoot us an email and we can resend your confirmation link. So definitely let us know if you think you signed up for something, but you don't seem to see the registration link in your inbox. So we have a question about, are we to take the sessions as we registered? If you need to adjust your schedule at all, your confirmation or your reminder emails have those cancellation links, and you can always go back to the main registration page and register for a new session. So feel free to update your schedule accordingly. Do we get a certificate to print after we submit our assignment? You'll get a certificate at the end of this program for any of the hours you completed, as well as kind of that badge if you did the full program, and certification that notes the full pathway program and not just, I attended one webinar for an hour. So as you get near to that piece, we'll kind of continue to work our way through.
Okay, so several questions about assignments. So Katie, I don't know if you want to show them kind of where we're putting the assignments on these pages, but yes, we put the assignment link in the chat window. It is going to be emailed to you in a follow-up email. Our follow-up emails will sometimes go out the same day, but it's likely it's going to be the next day. Within 24 hours is when we send those follow-up emails that will have the link to the assignment. But you're going to be able to find them on this page. So are you, do we have the link up?
Yep, so if I just typed in ck12.org/certified2017, this is our 2017 page. Once you're registered, this is where you want to go. We have a little bit more about CK12, the program. You can sign up for your office hours here. So plenty of options there, some questions. These are the listed sessions for the content and intelligent pathway. And then each one of these pieces underneath gives the core content for that session. So today we did 2 sessions for Intro to CK12, and you'll find all that information, the basic description, the times offered, the resources, and at the end of that, your assignment for today's session. So if you're antsy to get started right before, and that email hasn't gone out because we're still uploading videos and taking care of kind of those wrap-up pieces, you're welcome to click on that and access the assignment. So I would definitely keep checking on this page, and we'll have an archived videos webinar section at the bottom of that will get built out as well. So keep an eye out for that being built out. So if you miss a session, that's one place you can check it out, the archived place. If it's early in the program and you can register for a later session, so you're here today, I'm guessing you probably don't need one of these other times for this session, but you could always see what other times are available and go back and register for a later time if you missed one. So check that out. And will you put a link for the feedback at the page for the assignment? That's actually a good question. I think maybe we'll add those into the assignments. Right now they're not there. The feedback link is the same for the entire program. So CEP 2017 feedback. And so we can add that to the bottom of the assignment pages, and then you'll start seeing it. And that way you'll have a link there to give us the additional feedback as well.
That's a great idea. Actually, that's just the type of feedback that we want on these feedback forms. Is we're going to try to do a better job of linking this. We realize that it's a lot of tiny URLs and a registration page that's separate from a certification, landing page for all of our information, and we're working on unifying that to make it easier. So thank you on day one for bringing up some of these things of ways that we can make improvements immediately to make this a little easier for you guys to navigate. So. We appreciate it. Okay, so since there are no more questions, we're going to press the end webinar button, and we're going to look forward to seeing you guys on hopefully tomorrow's sessions or later this week. And don't forget to email us if you have questions or sign up for office hours. Thanks for joining us today.